So moving on to presentations. What sort of presentations can a candidate be expected to make?
Well, there's generally two styles of presentations, and one of them is where you're told in advance and then you can prepare, and the other is where you get maybe 30 minutes notice to prepare. The ones where you've been told in advance and you can bring everything along, I expect it to be completely slick. I expect it, if it's a 10-minute presentation, I want it to be finished very, very close to 10 minutes. And whatever the time limit is, I'm going to cut you off if you go over, so you do need to practice that. Now, we're a lot more forgiving when you've only been given 30 minutes to prepare. People will often come in with their notes, which is generally fine. But I think rather than write it out verbatim and read it out, what you need is the key things that you want to say, and to say that. And do get an idea about time. I'm looking for content. I'm also looking for structure. So if you've got a 10-minute presentation, then you can have, a minute and a half on setting the scene, thinking of a minute and a half at the end to close things down, and think about the time in between, or the 4 points that you need to make, and how you should allocate your time. A bit like when we prepare for writing an essay. Think about the time that you've got, and then as you do your presentation, you can make good use of your time, because I'm going to down-mark you if you stop in 3 minutes when you have 10 minutes to go.
No, I definitely agree. And you mentioned the presentations need to be slick. I know if people are, say, bringing in PowerPoint slides or have been asked to prepare an accompanying deck to go with it, I've got high expectations in terms of how I expect them to look, whether it's using the company branding on the slides, because the people who will be assessing you will more likely be people who work at the firm and are used to dealing with PowerPoint, etc. all day, so they'll have a high standard of what they expect them to look like.
Absolutely, and the branding, really key. If you're going to the NHS, get the NHS logo up there. They're blue, so you use blue as well. Do these things that give them a subtle idea about how you are. And often, I know when I was doing those sorts of things, if you have your first slide as if you're a member of the organisation, so they're beginning to see how you fit in. My big bugbear with watching presentations is when people just read out the bullets on the slide. Your slides are not your crib. They are there to enhance what it is that you have to say. And when people are putting up pictures and then they're talking around the image, I'm quite impressed by that one. I do not want people just to read out bullets. Having said that, when you're doing it on the day with a very limited amount of time, then you're going to have bullets because you're going to have to refer things too. Quick tip is if they're still doing it with paper, I haven't seen, actually I have seen paper presentations recently, is you can write things on in pencil and then you can write in flip-chart pen over the top of it. So there are things like that, but generally, it's all done online now, so that and make sure you can use the technology. Gosh, yeah, when you struggle and you don't know how to put your pen drive in, or you can't give it the right size, you should know these sorts of things. Organisations use PowerPoint. Even if you're a Mac user, you make sure that you can use PowerPoint.
And always bring plenty of paper copies on the day, just in case there's a power cut or the computer stops working.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's if you're bringing it in advance. It's when you're preparing on the day, and you might not get that. But you should. It's always nice when you can go in advance to bring things that you can hand out to people. Not necessarily all the slides, but like the equivalent of a handout that you would do to leave behind if you were making a presentation. That's a nice touch as well.